What's up guys, Paulie here from Vo-Gus Prospecting. If you're new to the channel, a big warm welcome, and if you're an old moldy beanie like this one, welcome back. Today I'm out in the creek doing a little bit of detecting. However, my battery's died and I'm waiting for Mick to show up to bring me some more. So in the meanwhile, we're doing some test panning. I just took a pan out from here and I got some gold. It looks pretty good too. I'm gonna try and get to bedrock and see what's actually down there while I wait for Mick. I didn't really think I would find a lesson for today. I was just mucking around, but I found one. You can see the creek all the way over there, and as it comes down this straight, it drops in elevation quite a lot, and it lines up perfectly with the bank that I'm on. Now, the bank that I'm on is quite high. We are 2.5 meters above the creek line. And that straight line in flood runs straight up over the top of this bedrock. You can see that we know the water's coming over because of these flattened trees here. And a lot of people will completely ignore a place like this. Chances are that gold at some point has come up over the top of this. If you find bedrock, don't dig down hard up against it. You can see that there's sort of a dip just there where the bedrock is. That's because the pressure of the water is coming in and scooping up. So the gold, if it gets deposited, is probably going to be in a high concentration on the mound. So look for the mound and dig there. Well, all right, I've had to dig down about 30 centimeters, but we hit a river gravel level. So many people don't sample correctly. You can see this is the first layer that I took out. You can see the shape of my shovel here. So we've gone down about 30 centimeters in this piece from the grass, and there's literally nothing in it. So when you're sampling, dig through it until you hit gravels. So we look down here, we've actually got stones, and this means that the river was flowing up at this point at some stage. Now, there's no guarantee there's going to be gold here, but it shows you the importance of sampling correctly. Dig through the silt. It could be 1 foot thick, it could be 5 foot thick. And then, once you hit the gravels, that's when you start sampling. We actually got a ton of fine gold. I am really going to try and get this on camera for you. That's the biggest bit just there. Now, it's not huge. There's probably about 20 more pieces up the top that you're not going to be able to make out at all. But that spot up there has gold, and it just shows to show you that sampling them is well worth your time, because that could be an old bench that no one has ever worked before. To find the actual deposit up there, I'd have to spend a lot more time digging down through that layer and taking more test pans. We're not going to do that today. I'm just having fun walking up the creek. On the note of places that you should be looking that might not be obvious, the creek is over there. So we're about 25 to 30 meters away from the creek on what is called a terraced or surfaced area. It's perfectly flat. The old timers came through here and ripped out all of the alluvial wash and then sluiced it. I've come to the point that they stopped. So where this bank goes up and levels out, that's the original ground level. I dug down once again until I hit river gravels. Now, there's very, very mixed gravels in here. So we know that this is what the old timers were chasing, and they stopped here probably because it wasn't payable anymore. But irrespective if it wasn't payable for them, sometimes this stuff is payable for us. With the gold price being well over $2,000 Australian an ounce at the moment, there could be gold in there that is quite rich for today's standards. Now, you won't always hit it doing this, you won't. More often than not, they stop because there wasn't any gold. But very occasionally you'll come across a place that has absolutely premium virgin gold. Once again, we got gold, and it is super, super fine, but there is easily 100 bits of gold in that pan. And we were only just scraping the very top of that gravel layer. So theoretically speaking, if I dug to bedrock there could be a lot more super fine gold. But today, again, we're just sampling. Mick just arrived with some electricity for the SDC. We're going to find out if the SDC is broken or if it was just a flat battery. Winner! Mick was kind enough to bring me batteries, but he forgot his shovel in the process. Lead bullet. .22 casing. Alright, now that Mick's here and we've found a couple of bullets, and by a couple I mean like 6 million of them, I wanted to show you the comparison difference between the SDC and Mick's Gold Monster over there. So we've got a little target here. Now I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bullet. So this is the SDC, it's ground balanced and set to level 3. You can see a quite definite signal. Now we get Mick's Gold Monster on top of it. And now Mick's discriminating. It's extremely hot ground. So the Gold Monster is going to be running a lot less sensitivity than normal. But it's still picking it up, and it's still picking up discriminated. In the near future, I am going to be making a video with the Gold Monster versus SDC. I'm going to show you the differences that are between the machines, because this is something that gets brought up on a lot of forums all the time. The price points are about $3,000 apart. The SDC is $4,000, the Gold Monster is about $1,000. And the differences are night and day when it comes to what you can get out of these machines, but there are also some very big comparisons that we can draw from these machines. Even though they don't work the same, they do have quite a few similarities in there, and we can show you how to get the best out of your units for what you're doing out in the creek, especially what we do. We don't really hunt for gold like this that often. We more use them as a tool to pick up gold in creeks. We were trying to pinpoint it with the Gold Monster's coil and it just couldn't do it. So like, we'll give you a bit of an example. So very sketchy target response. It's not consistent, and consistency in detector coils is everything, because consistency tells you exactly what's going past your shovel. If you're dealing with ground noise like we deal with the Gold Monster, then it becomes very tricky to identify your bullet or your shotgun pellet. Unlike this, that it's a very definite response. I would say so. There we go. So, well, it's just a bit of lead, but that's about normal when you're out detecting for it. And that's a little comparison between the Gold Monster and the SDC. It's all about the stability. The Gold Monster can pick that bit up, but it's nowhere near as consistent as what this is. So how long you been collecting bullets for, Mick?
Yeah, all my life.
So Mick and I have been working this spot for maybe 45 minutes, and we pulled out a lot of lead. But for now, we're going to head down to the creek with the detectors, and we're going to detect the banks either side just to see if there isn't any big, nice, chunky nuggety bits that have washed up in the floods that we've had over the last 12 months.
Bullet.
It's targets like this that really show you the importance of reading rivers. You see this big old tree root coming down here, and it's worked just like a sluice riffle. So as the water's streamed down off this bedrock, it's come up over this outside bend and hit all this broken up bedrock and been diverted back down. But even though it's the outside bend and the water's fast, things like this end up working just like sluice riffles and still catching heavy things for you. So that bullet was in the surface. It means it's probably from the last flood that we had, and is a good indication that if we were out here panning or sluicing, that to take a test sample out from behind this root would be ideal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the last bullet of the day. Even though we didn't find any gold with the detector today, that's just the way it goes in my area. It's very easy to find gold with a pan, and you got to put in a lot of hours with a detector. The only difference is that if you find gold with a detector in my area, it's likely to be a very big, nice bit. It's just going to be a lot of bullets in between pieces. We found a little bit of gold though today, panning, which is exactly what you want. You want to go home with something in the pan. The gold that you're looking at right now is actually a little bit from here and a little bit from another location called Nugget Gully. If you want to see the videos of where we got that gold from, check the description below, as well as links for all the equipment that I use and other things are down below. Today was all about just getting out and having a bucket load of fun, which is exactly what I've done, even though I ran out of electricity right at the start of it. I wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video, and I'm going to have a lot more on the SDC, the gold monster, and some comparisons coming up for you in a future episode. Remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button because that helps me grow the channel bigger and better for you guys. And as always, I hope to catch you out in the creek one day. Peace, and we're out. Wah!